Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1965 Washington Quarter Dollar. At first glance, this coin might seem like any other quarter you've seen in your pocket change, but behind its history lies a story of rarity, mystery, and record-breaking value that has made collectors go wild. Let's start with the background. The year 1965 was a turning point for U.S. coinage. Up until 1964, quarters were minted with 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to a rising demand for silver and a shortage in supply, the U.S. Mint made a huge decision. Beginning in 1965, quarters would no longer contain silver. Instead, they were made with a copper-nickel clad composition, which is what we still use today. This change meant that 1965 quarters were not supposed to have any silver at all. However, mistakes and transitional errors during the minting process created a few extremely rare varieties. Imagine a coin struck in 1965 but still minted on a silver planchet left over from 1964. That kind of error instantly transformed an ordinary quarter into a treasure worth a fortune. Collectors began to notice these rare 1965 silver quarters showing up. They were not supposed to exist, but they did. And because of that rarity, the value skyrocketed. For years, coin hunters have been searching through rolls of quarters, hoping to stumble across one of these elusive silver planchet errors from 1965. Now let's talk about the money. In the modern coin market, the 1965 Washington Quarter Dollar has made headlines for selling at jaw-dropping prices. The highest recorded sale so far reached an astonishing $1,170,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter from 1965 sold for $1.17 million, but why is this coin worth so much? It comes down to three things: rarity, condition, and historical significance. First, very few 1965 silver quarters exist, and each discovery is like uncovering buried treasure. Second, the condition of the coin matters enormously. Coins graded at the highest mint state levels by professional grading services bring in massive premiums. Third, the historical context of this transition year makes the 1965 quarter a milestone in U.S. coinage. So what does this mean for you? If you come across a 1965 quarter, don't dismiss it as just 25 cents. Check the edges carefully. A standard copper-nickel quarter will show a distinct copper stripe along the edge. But a rare silver 1965 quarter will have a solid silver appearance without the copper core. Collectors also look for other varieties from 1965, including double-die errors and coins with off-center strikes, which can also carry significant value, though nothing compares to the silver transitional errors. Today, the 1965 Washington Quarter has a legendary reputation in the coin world. It's a reminder that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. Imagine the thrill of finding one of these coins in your collection or even in pocket change, knowing that it could be worth over $1 million. We are diving into the fascinating world of Washington quarters, focusing on one of the most surprising and valuable coins you may have in your pocket change, the 1980p Washington Quarter Dollar. At first glance, this coin may look like any ordinary piece of American change. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint in the year 1980, with no mint mark, which was standard practice for Philadelphia quarters of that time. More than 635 million of these coins were produced, making them seem very common. But the truth is, not all 1980 quarters are created equal. Some rare varieties and high-grade examples have shocked collectors and investors by selling for staggering prices at auction. The Washington Quarter design itself goes back to 1932, created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse side features the profile of the first president, while the reverse carries the image of a heraldic eagle. By 1980, this design was already nearly 50 years old, but what makes the 1980 Philadelphia issue stand out today is the combination of condition rarity, mint errors, and the explosive demand in the modern coin market. So what are collectors looking for when it comes to the 1980p quarter? First and foremost, condition is king. The majority of these coins circulated heavily, showing wear and scratches from decades of use. But a tiny fraction were preserved in pristine condition, grading at the highest levels such as Mint State 67 and even Mint State 68. These high-grade coins are virtually flawless, with blazing luster and razor-sharp details. When such examples come up for auction, competition among serious collectors pushes prices into the tens of thousands, and in some extraordinary cases, far beyond, but condition alone is not the only factor. Some of the most valuable 1980 quarters feature dramatic mint errors. Striking errors, double strikes, off-center strikes, and wrong planchet errors are highly desirable. Imagine finding a 1980 quarter that was accidentally struck on a copper cent planchet, or a nickel planchet, or even a foreign coin blank. These unique mint mistakes make each coin one of a kind, and collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for them. The crown jewel among these is a legendary 1980p Washington quarter that shocked the numismatic community when it sold for an incredible $1,160,000. That is right, a single 25-cent coin that originally cost only $0.25 is now worth over $1 million. This record-setting sale has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide and proves just how valuable rare American coins can be. The current coin market is hotter than ever, driven by passionate collectors, investors, and the rising popularity of coin collecting on social media. Many people are now digging through old change jars, coin rolls from the bank, and even inherited coin collections in hopes of discovering hidden treasures like the 1980p Washington quarter worth life-changing money. If you are searching for these coins yourself, here are some tips. Always check the condition carefully under good lighting. Look for quarters with strong details, no wear, and as few contact marks as possible. If you think you may have a gem, consider having it graded and authenticated by a trusted third-party grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Also keep an eye out for unusual shapes, strikes, or coloring that may suggest a rare mint error. Even if you do not find a $1 million quarter, high-grade 1980p quarters can still bring hundreds or thousands of dollars. A Mint State 67 example recently sold for over $3,000, while other rarities continue to climb in value. The lesson here is that not all change is just change. A simple coin from 1980, the Philadelphia Washington quarter, has proven that it can be worth a fortune when the right factors align. Whether it is condition rarity, an incredible mint error, or simply the growing demand among collectors, these coins are a powerful reminder of the hidden wealth in everyday pocket money. We are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in United States coinage history, and it is all about the 1982p Washington quarter-dollar coin. Now at first glance this coin might look like any other quarter you have in your pocket change. But hold on, because the truth is that certain 1982p Washington quarters have sold for absolutely jaw-dropping prices, with some specimens valued at over $1 million in today's market. Let us set the stage. The year is 1982. The United States Mint was striking Washington quarters as usual at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why you see the small letter P mint mark on the obverse side. What makes the 1982 issue particularly fascinating is that it was struck during a time of cost-cutting and transition at the Mint. For that year the Mint decided not to produce any mint sets, and as a result many high-quality uncirculated coins never made their way into collectors' hands. Instead they went directly into circulation. This scarcity of pristine examples makes them highly sought after today, but here is where the story takes an even more incredible twist. In 1982 the Mint also experimented with certain die varieties and errors that slipped through production. Some of these coins were struck with a weak or missing mint mark. Others were struck on planchets meant for other denominations or with unusual doubling effects. The rarest varieties are virtually impossible to find, and when one surfaces, collectors go wild at auction. Now imagine a coin that has been preserved in nearly flawless condition for more than 4 decades. Not only is it rare because of the year and the Philadelphia mint mark, but it also carries one of those famous die varieties. That is the formula for an absolute numismatic treasure. And this is exactly what happened when one of the finest known 1982p Washington quarter-dollar coins went to auction. The hammer price shocked the collecting world, and that coin sold for an astonishing $1,150,000. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter-dollar coin that normally buys you a gumball or parking meter time turned into a piece of history worth over $1 million, collectors today continue to hunt for 1982p Washington quarters in their pocket change and coin rolls. Most of the time you will find ordinary examples that might be worth 25 cents or perhaps a couple of dollars if they are in nice condition. But in very high mint state grades or with one of those dramatic varieties, the value skyrockets. We are talking thousands of dollars for rare conditions and into the millions for that one spectacular piece that changed the way people look at modern coinage. What makes this coin so special is not just its rarity or its condition. It is also the story it tells. A story about the United States Mint in the early 1980s when decisions to cut corners ended up creating hidden treasures. A story about how ordinary people can suddenly discover extraordinary wealth right in their pocket change. And a story about the passion and dedication of coin collectors who preserve history one coin at a time. So next time you get a handful of change, do not dismiss those quarters too quickly. Take a closer look at the date. Look for the 1982p. Who knows, you might just be holding onto something far more valuable than 25 cents. We are diving deep into one of the most surprising and exciting stories in modern coin collecting. We are talking about the 1993 Washington quarter dollar and why certain rare examples of this coin have been valued at life-changing amounts of money, including one record that stunned collectors with a jaw-dropping figure of $1,130,000. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By the year 1993, the quarter had already been circulating for over 60 years. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark on the coin, produced over 600 million Washington quarters in 1993. That makes it seem like these coins should be very common. And for the most part, they are. Millions of these coins still change hands in daily transactions with a face value of just 25 cents. So how could a coin that was minted by the hundreds of millions suddenly be worth over $1 million? The answer lies in rarity, condition, and in some cases, dramatic minting errors. Collectors will pay extraordinary prices for coins that are not just rare but also in pristine condition. And with the 1993 quarter, a handful of examples have surfaced in flawless mint state, certified by professional grading services at the very top of the scale. Now let's break this down even further. A regular circulated 1993 quarter found in your pocket is usually worth only its face value. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples trade for just a few dollars. But when you start talking about quarters that are graded MS67, MS68, or even higher, the price jumps significantly. These grades mean the coin has virtually no flaws, no scratches, and still shines with its original mint luster. The real treasure, however, comes from rare error coins and unique varieties. Some 1993 quarters were struck with double dies, off-center strikes, or other unusual minting mistakes. To collectors, these one-of-a-kind errors transform a common coin into a museum piece. And when such a coin is preserved in the highest condition possible, it creates the perfect storm for record-breaking auction results. In fact, one particularly rare 1993 quarter shocked the collecting world when it sold for a staggering $1,130,000. That sale immediately placed it among the most valuable modern quarters ever sold. To put this in perspective, that is more than 4 million times its original 25-cent value. So what should you do if you come across a 1993 quarter in your pocket change? First, take a close look at the coin. Check for the D mint mark on the front, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Then inspect the surfaces. Does the coin have any unusual doubling on the lettering or design? Does it appear off-center or with a strange strike? And most importantly, is it in near-perfect condition with bright luster and no scratches? If you suspect you have something special, the next step is to have the coin authenticated and graded by a professional service such as PCGS or MGC. These grading companies will certify the condition of your coin and place it in a protective holder. With certification, your coin can then be offered at auction where serious collectors compete to own the finest examples. Even if you do not discover $1 million rarity, remember that collecting quarters can still be rewarding. High-grade 1993 Washington quarters in mint state can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. And with coin collecting, you never know when the next great discovery might turn up in a roll of change from the bank or in a forgotten jar of coins in your house. We are going to talk about one of the most fascinating coins in modern American history, the 1998 Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin looks like just another piece of pocket change that millions of us have handled over the years. But the story behind it and its incredible potential value in the collector's market will absolutely surprise you. The Washington quarter has been a staple of United States coinage since 1932, when it was first introduced to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design remained familiar and the Denver Mint produced millions upon millions of these quarters. By 1998, the quarter was such a common coin that nobody paid much attention when they jingled in change. But collectors know that sometimes, the most ordinary-looking coin can be hiding an extraordinary secret. The 1998 D quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, normally carries very little premium above face value. In circulated condition, most of these coins are worth just 25 cents. However, certain rare varieties, error strikes, and pristine condition examples can change everything. Coins with unusual minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws, can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But what truly makes headlines is when a coin is found in nearly perfect condition, graded at the very top levels by professional grading services. There have been reports in the numismatic world of extraordinary sales involving Washington quarters, including rare examples reaching unbelievable price tags. The attention of collectors has grown especially strong around quarters minted in the 1990s as interest in modern coinage expands. The idea that a 1998 D quarter could be valued as high as $1.9 million comes from the intense rarity of pristine examples combined with historical demand. While most coins never come close to that figure, the possibility of finding one in exceptional quality has fueled excitement and speculation. So, what should you look for if you have a 1998 D Washington quarter in your collection or in your change jar at home? First, check the condition. Coins that are crisp, sharp, and nearly flawless under magnification are the ones that catch the eye of serious collectors. Second, look closely for minting errors. Even small imperfections caused during the minting process can turn a common coin into a treasure. And finally, consider having your coin graded by a professional service. A high grade can be the difference between a coin worth only a few cents and a coin worth thousands or even millions. The current market value of a perfect or rare example has been highlighted at around $1.9 million. This number represents the very peak of collector demand, the kind of sale that makes history and sparks conversations across the numismatic community. While it is extremely rare, it serves as a reminder that incredible discoveries can be hiding in plain sight. Today we are diving deep into the 2021 P Washington quarter story, everything from the design and minting background to the error varieties collectors hunt for, real-world market prices, how to spot a valuable example, and the truth behind the viral claim that a 2021 P quarter is worth $1.7 million. Stick around because I'll show you what actually moves the needle in value, what to look for in your pocket change, and the exact steps to take if you think you found something special. Intro and hook. Imagine finding a shiny quarter in your change and being told it could be worth life-changing money. We've all seen those headlines and videos. But how often is that true? For the 2021 P Washington quarter, the short answer is, most of them are worth face value. A few error varieties can be worth hundreds or low thousands if authenticated, and there is no credible evidence any 2021 P quarter has a proven market sale at $1.7 million. I'll unpack why, with sources from the US Mint, PCGS, and major price guides, and I'll give you a step-by-step checklist so you can evaluate any 2021 quarter you find. A quick history and why 2021 is special. The obverse portrait on the quarter is the familiar John Flanagan design of George Washington that has been used on quarters for decades. In 2021, the Mint released a couple of important designs and transitional issues connected to the end of the America the Beautiful series and the one-year return to a more classical Washington obverse and new reverse designs. One of the notable 2021 releases is the Washington Crossing the Delaware quarter, a design the US Mint documents and circulated in 2021. The Mint's official pages give background on the design and confirm the Philadelphia P Mint strikes for the series. Why collectors care about 2021 quarters 2021 coins attract attention for 3 reasons. First, the series marks transitions in designs and the end of a long-running program, which always piques collectors. Second, 2021 pieces show a range of modern minting errors, double dies, die chips, strike-throughs, off-center strikes, and missing clad layer examples, all of which can create collectability. Third, social media and online marketplaces frequently highlight dramatic listings and prices, which amplifies interest whether the listings reflect true auction results or just seller optimism. Multiple collector guides and coin sites catalog the common error types and give realistic value ranges. Common 2021 P Washington quarter error types to look for. Here are the error types you should know about and what they look like. Double die obverse or reverse doubled features, where letters or design elements appear doubled, are one of the most common collectible errors. On 2021 quarters you might see doubling on Washington's portrait details, the date, or reverse inscriptions. These can be visible to the naked eye but are best confirmed by a professional grader. Small raised metal blobs or cracks along the design rim are die chips and cracks. Collectors often nickname certain dramatic die chips, and some of the 2021 P quarters show distinctive chips that sellers market as full crown or other named varieties. These can add premium if they are bold and attractive. Strike-throughs and burning building effects, particularly on the Tuskegee Airmen 2021 quarter. There are strike-throughs that make the background building appear damaged or on fire. These strike-throughs are caused by debris or grease interacting with the strike and can be worth a premium to collectors hunting that look. News and collecting channels documented this phenomenon. The Sun missing clad layer and Broadstrike say missing clad layer makes the reverse look copper and is visually dramatic. Broad strikes or clips create unusual shapes and edges. These types of gross errors are rarer and command higher prices when authenticated. Specialist sellers sometimes list missing clad or Broadstrike 2021 quarters in 4-figure ranges. Realistic market values, what actually sells and where. Let's be blunt. Mainstream price guides and major grading services do not support the idea that ordinary 2021 P quarters are worth massive sums. Price guides and auction records indicate typical ranges like circulating and uncirculated common strikes. Most 2021 P quarters are worth face value to a few dollars in uncirculated grades. Price guides show typical MS values in the low dollar range unless the coin is a premium proof or gem-braided specimen. Error coins that sell well: small to moderate errors such as modest die chips, certain double dies, or feeder finger marks commonly trade for tens to a few $100s depending on how dramatic and well-preserved the error is. Verified examples graded by PCGS or NGC and sold at auction have recorded sales in the hundreds up to about $1,000 or slightly more. For example, an MS-69 crossing the Delaware quarter has an auction record under $1,000 on PCGS's records. High-end in extreme cases if you find a truly unusual gross error, missing clad layer, massive off-center with nearly full date and design, or a unique die variety with provenance, prices can jump into the low thousands. Specialist auction houses and consignments sometimes produce 5-figure outcomes, but these are exceptional and require documented provenance and professional grading. Graysheet and other catalogs place the standard 2021 crossing the Delaware values mostly in the cents to teens range for typical grades, reinforcing that big sales are the exception, not the rule. The viral $1.7 million claim. What's really going on? You asked about the claim that a 2021 P quarter has a current market value of $1.7 million. I searched auction records, major grader databases, and price guides. There is no credible PCGS or NGC auction record, and no reputable price guide that lists a confirmed sale of a 2021 P quarter at $1.7 million. The highest documented auction records for 2021 quarters and notable error pieces are in the low thousands or under $1,000 in several graded examples. The 1.7 million figure appears to be misinformation or sensationalized marketing, not an authenticated market sale. Always demand verifiable auction records and professional grading paperwork for claims that large. PCGS plus 2 Graysheet.com plus 2A practical checklist. If you find a 2021 P Washington quarter you think is valuable, look carefully with a loupe or strong magnifier. Identify the error type. Document the coin with high-resolution photos of obverse, reverse, and edges. Compare to known error photos from PCGS or NGC Coinfacts. Don't trust high listing prices without final sale documentation. If you think it's valuable, submit the coin to a major grading service such as PCGS or NGC for authentication and grading before selling. Auction houses and specialist dealers will pay premiums only after authentication and provenance are established. If you are unsure, post clear photos on reputable coin forums or consult a local numismatic club, but do not post images on social platforms claiming millions without proof. How to read marketplace listings and avoid scams. Many online listings are asking prices, not sale prices. Sellers often list extreme prices to attract attention or to test the market. Look for completed sales and auction records rather than active listings. Check multiple sources: PCGS Coinfacts, NGC, Graysheet, and dependable auction houses. If a listing claims an enormous sum, ask for auction or grading certificate numbers and verify them with PCGS or NGC directly. If a seller hesitates or cannot provide verifiable documentation, be skeptical. Closing. The bottom line: the 2021 P Washington quarter is interesting to collectors and several genuine error varieties are worth money, sometimes substantially more than face value. However, the vast majority are common and worth little beyond face or a modest premium in collector condition. There is no validated evidence supporting a $1.7 million market sale for a 2021 P quarter. If you find a striking error that looks unique, document it, get it authenticated by a top grading service, and then pursue auction channels. That is the only route to reliably unlock any real high value. Sources and further reading U.S. Mint official descriptions for the 2021 designs and background. PCGS auction and Coinfacts records showing actual graded auction outcomes and price history. Graysheet and other professional price guides that summarize market ranges for 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware quarters. Graysheet.com collector and numismatic sites that catalog 2021 error types and recent market listings. Representative marketplace listings and graded error examples to illustrate real asking and sale prices. If you like this deep dive, hit the like button, subscribe for more coin sleuthing videos, and drop a comment telling me whether you found a quarter that might be special. If you want, send clear photos of your coin and I will help you evaluate it step by step so you can decide whether to get it graded. Thanks for watching and happy hunting.